What's up everyone, we've got a special treat for you guys. I know we said we were doing Athena next, but before we start on her, we have a special episode.
Recently, Skillz and I discovered that within our emails were closed beta keys for the new hi-rez game Paladins. Hi-rez also shared a video explicitly stating that all players had permission to share information and make videos. While neither of us are avid players of first-person shooters, we decided to play and make an impressions video.
First, let us begin with a little explanation. I would call Paladins a tactical team game. Let me break that down for you. I say tactical because victory is objective-based. The team with the most kills has the greatest chance of success, but is never promised the ultimate win. I add team because every match requires teamwork to win. I was tempted to add shooter or MOBA, but this type of game doesn't really fit the mold for me. You'll understand more when we get into the details.
At the moment, Paladins has multiple game modes to choose from. However, as this is a closed beta and is subject to major changes on a regular basis, we feel that it would be safe to only cover the game mode that we would consider the normal mode.
And that mode would be Capture and Siege. Both teams sprint, or more accurately, ride, to one of 3 circles chosen randomly by the game. If only one team is standing on the circle, that team will gain points every second. If both teams have a player on that circle, nothing happens. The first team to reach 100 points gets a siege machine. This thing is tough and automatically storms the enemy's base.
While the siege machine is attacking the enemy base, you gain the ability to damage the base with your own attacks. To destroy the base, you need to destroy 2 walls and a vault, the vault being the final thing you destroy. Destroying a vault in Paladins is the same as killing a Titan in Smite. If your siege machine is destroyed, the cycle will continue and you run to the next circle. One last point to make before continuing is that the siege machine becomes stronger and faster with every siege machine created. Not only does this make the match shorter, but it means that the team with only their vault remaining can still win with 1 or 2 strong pushes.
Let's talk about something that makes Paladins different, and by different, I mean the card system.
The card system is undergoing changes frequently. Therefore, let us explain what we believe the goal of this system is, rather than how it operates at the moment. In Smite, your stats determine much of what you are capable of and how you interact with the enemy. These stats are controlled by items, of which you can only hold 6 at a time.
We think the cards are trying to do the same thing. The matches are shorter and more intense, but hi-rez still wants you to be able to adjust your champion to your liking. The card system is their way of trying to pull this off.
Cards vary in effect. Some make a big difference in how you fight, while others provide bonuses such as defense, healing, health, cooldown reduction, and additional utility. Hi-rez is hoping to make an engaging system that lets you play the way you want, but also spice things up with randomness. To do so, some cards are not available for one reason or another. Balancing this application of randomness with a player's desire to play the way they want can be a big challenge. Moving on, should we talk about the champions? There are only 9 at the moment.
Sure, we can do that. We don't need to go into detail like we do in our god guides. A lot of them do remind me of gods from Smite. Let's make it easy and cover them from left to right.
That would make our first champion Barrack. Barrack reminds me a lot of Vulcan. He builds stationary turrets and shields and uses a single-shot rifle. For added mobility, he has a dash that functions a lot like Chiron's, minus the knockback and ability to attack for the duration.
Next is Cassie. She's your standard long-range hunter. Her kit comes with knockback, which helps keep enemy away or off the objective. Think of on her, but without the stun. She can also reveal enemies like Nuwa, but she can't make comets rain down from the heavens to crush all that oppose her.
Calm down, Skillz. Anyways, after Cassie is Fernando. When you think Fernando, think Guardian. Lacking the crowd control most Guardians have, he instead acts as a moving shield for allies. Imagine if Ymir made a wall in front of him and it moved with him. He also comes with an ability that's akin to Kali's ultimate.
Buck is your shotgun champion. He's very Guardian-like and shares an ultimate with the old Odin. He also comes with a root, much like Sylvanas, and he is just as dangerous below half health as he is above, much like Sun Wukong.
Brock, being the most mage-like champion so far, resembles Zeus as he can alter his primary attack to chain to nearby enemies as well as summon a storm cloud. Like Ra, he can also make a healing zone.
Eevee is your high mobility champion. 2 of her abilities remind me of the actives that used to be in Smite, namely Aegis and Blink. Her ultimate is like a concentrated, smaller version of Apwash's ultimate.
Pip is a jack of all trades. Rather than resembling one or two gods, he takes from many gods to make a very unique style that contains area healing, area damage, mobility, and some crowd control. To counter this, he's rather fragile.
Ruckus is your aggressive tank. He's got 2 shields that protect either him or everyone around him, making him a little bit like Geb. He's also very hunter-like in that he can double his attack speed. He sacrifices movement speed to do this, though.
Last but not least is Skye.
She's Loki.
Actually,
Skye is essentially a ranged female Loki.
She can add poison to her primary attack and use a smokescreen to vanish like Nuwa.
Speaking of vanishing, she can go invisible too. Coincidence? I think not. At least her ultimate is a time bomb rather than a blink stun.
Let us conclude with our personal thoughts on the game. On a positive note, the short matches are pleasing, averaging from at least 5 or 7 minutes to 20 or 25 at most. While gods are cool, it is nice to see hi-rez making characters that exist in their own world rather than our own. The stylistic choice is refreshing and, in my opinion, keeps players from taking the game too seriously. I believe that the vibrant colors and tendency to keep the map lit helps the game remain upbeat. On a negative note, people who are picking up this game before playing Smite might find that the shooting in the game is odd. In Smite, ranged auto attacks take time to fly through the air. In a MOBA, this is understandable. However, if you are used to shooters with realistic guns, you may find that Paladins champions with single-shot primary attacks are harder than expected to learn, as the bullets fly slower. If you are one such person, play Ruckus. His primary fire is the most similar to normal guns. Otherwise, try Eevee or Barrack, as they have cards that boost their weapon's projectile speed. Should none of them feel easy to learn at first, try Pip, as his primary fire's splash damage can be a little forgiving.
I'm really enjoying myself. Reflexes are more important in Paladins than they are in Smite, and team fighting happens from the start. I like that you don't start the game by yourself or with one other person, but rather storm the very first objective as a group, and, ideally, stay together as a group the whole match. Aiming is much more important as well. However, I feel the amount of strategy in the game is less than there is in Smite. To be fair, there is strategy. While there is no class system like there is in Smite, players consciously or unconsciously know that you can't all be killers, even if you're all great at killing. However, the faster pacing and minimal amount of time between objective spawns, coupled with the ability to keep fighting the enemy even though the objective is gone, makes communication hard, thus hindering team-wide strategy. To counter this, the voice command system from Smite has been transferred over almost identically, so if you're like me and you have muscle memory for those commands, you'll find that most are there and in the exact same place. Curse voice chat also has functionality within the game.
This concludes our impressions of the hi-rez game Paladins. We will now begin work on Athena, I promise.